All right. And here we are today. Hey everybody. Who do we have in the chat? I was just commenting in the chat and misspelling words all over the place, but let's see. We've got Critical Cripple, Amiga Nuts, Robert X, a bit of tea in Danish, Never Again, Paul Camish. Who am I missing? Who am I missing? Godless Sewing. Hey. Da, 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 da. Yes, I think that's everyone at the moment. So good to see all of you. Thank you. A big thank you to my wonderful patrons whose names are scrolling in, frankly, in order of appearance thus far. At some point, I just need to put it in alphabetical order, but it's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Hopefully, you can see that. And they are the Lone Wanderer, a bit of tea and Danish, Kim, and Mark Caesar. So thank you all so much. It was very much appreciated. And yeah, if not, quickly becoming kind of necessary. All right. So what? There is a funny title to this one. Please. Oh, yeah. This is Wine and Reason, by the way. So welcome to Wine and Reason. The Pope Said What edition. So Pope Francis. I like to call him Frankie, but Pope Francis recently said something that was incredibly positive from a secular point of view, and it was this. This is from America, the Jesuit Review, which is obviously a Catholic publication. And their source for this was a Vatican dispatch. Can you imagine dispatches coming from the Vatican? It's like sent to the Jesuit weekly magazine. Like, oh, we have a dispatch from the Vatican. Quick, write the article. I can't even. It's when are we living? It's so weird. Okay, so the title is Pope Francis to Parents of LGBT Children. They leave off the Q and of course the I and the A and the plus, but yeah. Quote, God loves your children as they are. This article is written by Gerard O'Connell. So in the article, Pope Francis, and the links to this and to a New York Post article that uses this one as its source are in the description. So Pope Francis also said, the church loves your children as they are because they are children of God. Now, the reason he was talking about this was a group, Frankie baby, yeah, I agree, was a group of Catholic parents in Spain have made an association that's essentially an association of Catholic parents of gay and trans kids. So it's kind of like PFLAG, if you remember PFLAG from back in the day, Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. That's way old, but it's kind of like that, except specifically Catholic parents and their children. And the title or the name of the association translates in English to Jonathan's Tent. And they have a pamphlet that they gave to the Pope that's being translated into English, but right now it's still in Spanish, entitled Fortunate Parents. And the reason for that was explained by one of the parents who met with the Pope. There were about 40 odd parents. And this lady's name is Mara Grassi. And she's a member of the Jonathan's Tent organization. And she explained that the pamphlet's title, quote, we consider ourselves fortunate because we had to change the way that we had always looked at our children. We found a new way of looking that enabled us to see in them the beauty and love of God. Now, as an ex-Catholic, I was really moved by that statement. I was, because you cannot be gay or trans and be Catholic, or at least you couldn't when I was growing up and dealing with being, pansexual and a kid and a Catholic. It's it's not. And then some Catholics will say, well, it's not a sin to be gay, it's a sin to do gay things, right? So you can't act on it, essentially, which frankly is the church's answer for a lot of things. It's like, oh, you're horny, but you're not married yet. Just don't act on being horny. Go do something else. You can't masturbate and you can't have premarital sex, but just don't worry about all of that, which is why so many Catholic people who are straight get married way too young. It's bad. Anyway. Sorry, Wine and Reason is sponsored by coffee today because my sleep schedule is all over the place. All right. So, but I do love what she said about being fortunate and having to look at their children in a new way. Basically, what she's saying is we had to get over our own homophobia and transphobia because we love our kids. And we had to somehow square that with the religion that we also love. And that's the bummer, right? That's the sad part, is that they have to square loving their children with loving their God and their church. And we'll get more into that in a minute. But I just do want to give Mara Grassi some props for, because that took courage. To say that to the Pope, that took guts, and it took a lot of love. And so I do it. I admire her for that. It's horrible that she even has to do that, but she's kind of amazing for doing it. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, essentially not allowed to be happy. Yeah. The church generally frowns on random happiness. I don't know if you knew that, Dave. Yeah, it's we're supposed to suffer. We're not supposed to be happy. Okay. And I do wonder though. This statement is interesting. It is just a statement that he made. There are a couple of statements that Pope Frankie made. I do wonder how other Christians would look at it. I think we can all guess how the NIFB and some of the other seriously homophobic but don't even try to hide it churches will react to that. They think Catholics are going to hell anyway, just for being Mary worshiping idolaters. So yeah, it's weird. Oh, and my lovely partner Dung Shop seems to be in the chat as well. That's nice. Hello. Okay. And what are other Catholics going to think? And this is going to be where the New York Post article comes in a moment. But Ms. Grassi also told Pope Francis that she wants, this isn't a quote, I'm paraphrased, but she wants the church to view LGBT children in a new way as well, so that the church will stop excluding them. And Francis's answer to that was, quote, "The church does not exclude them because she loves them deeply," end quote. Now, the problem there is, well, that's lovely, but you're not talking about the time in the Middle Ages when it was the origin of the worst, I'm not going to say it was the origin of the worst slur against gay people is they were used as kindling in the Middle Ages when they were burning witches at the stake. So, he's saying it as though that's always been the church's position, or at least it is now. And but he's not indicating a change there. And this would definitely be a change. I'm 42. And when I was a teenager and a young adult, it was not okay to be Catholic and not be straight. It just wasn't. And then again, like I said before, if you were Catholic and not straight, you just couldn't act on any of those not straight feelings, which is ridiculous. So that was news to me. I did not know that the church still loved us LGBTQ people in deeply. Yeah, that's making me think of horrible things. Oh, funny thing though, this group, Jonathan Stent, they did give the Pope a rainbow T-shirt with the words, quote, "In love there is no fear" on it. And I would really love to see the Vicar of Christ on earth sporting that rainbow T-shirt. Oh my God, just one photo op, that would make my day. I would be so happy. So I was looking into the name Jonathan's Tent. Barely. When I say looking into it, I mentioned it to Junk Shop, and they said this, and I thought this is interesting. It makes sense because Junk Shop isn't the first person to suggest that Jonathan, king of Israel, and David, future King David, and the David and Goliath David, that there's some lines in there about Jonathan and David meeting in the wilderness and how David was the friend of Jonathan's bosom. And we're kind of wondering if Jonathan's tent is sort of like gay coding from the Bible to now. I don't know. And I would have to ask the lovely people who formed this organization of parents, what they mean by Jonathan's tent. But just throwing it out there as a possible, that could be it. I don't know. Yeah, so there was that. I want to see the Pope in that rainbow tee so bad. Okay, so badly. No, I don't want to see it badly. I want to see it clearly and crisp and beautiful. That's how I want to see that. Serious photography. Okay. More than one parent in that meeting tried to pin the Pope down, asking for an official change in church doctrine, but not in so many words. But they were asking for things like, can the church accept our children rather than exclude them? They were framing their questions like that. And again, his response was, the church loves our children as they are, quote. That's a quote from the Pope. Quote, the church loves our children as they are, end quote, because apparently all Catholic children also belong to the church, which, yeah, that actually is doctrine. Can you see why I left? getting clear now. And honestly, that is great. That is a great statement, and I'm sure it brought those Catholic parents of gay kids and trans kids, a lot of solace in that moment. But without a change in official doctrine, parishes all over the world can still exclude gay people, and they can and trans people, and they can cite doctrine to do so. And they will keep doing that. I mean, according to the New York Post, that also used the same article I was just quoting from. This was on the 20th of September, 2020. It's by Jorge Fitzgibbon. That only happens in the States, right? That's an amazing name. This article used the Jesuit Weekly American Magazine. And then, but Fitzgibbon added something else in the New York Post article. He added that in 2019, an archbishop in Warsaw announced during a homily that Poland was, quote, under siege from a rainbow plague. It's a rainbow plague. Now that's a pandemic I can get behind. I could enjoy the hell out of that. Let's have a rainbow plague up in here. Apparently, for this particular Polish archbishop, rainbow plague translates into gay rights activists. So they're the rainbow plague. I'm sorry, it's really hard not to imagine this angry little man at mass up on the dais, and then a bunch of activists just streaming in and throwing glitter or something. Like that would be so great. I would love that. Like rainbow colored rosary beads, everything. Fantastic. Okay. So again, the Pope can tell 40 odd parents in a room that the church accepts their gay children, but it's still systemic homophobia and transphobia. It runs rampant through this worldwide organization, just like child abuse, unfortunately, runs rampant through this worldwide organization. And I don't think the Pope making nice with 40 odd couples is going to make that change. I just don't. I wish. I'm not trying to be pessimistic here. But yeah. But honestly, the moment if Christians would stop using Jesus and the Bible to justify their bigotry, that would be a moment so many gay and trans youth could breathe a collective sigh of relief. And it would destroy the last vestiges of conversion therapy. We'd have fewer families getting torn apart because people are choosing their religion over their loved ones. And I think many church services would be less dull. Again, sparkles. Let's get some sparkles in the pews. No, but I know it leads to, I mean, because the alternative is religion sponsors hate, right? And that's what we see now. We've seen that forever. And we know from history, like both ancient and recent, as well as by current events, that way that religious sponsored hate leads to death and destruction and the dissolution of families. And we've only had one edition of the DSM that does not list homosexuality as a mental illness, and it's 2020. Okay. So think about how long it's taken for this to change just in secular law. And it's because of that religious influence and how rampant transphobia still is. I mean, gay and trans kids, especially trans kids, are some of our most vulnerable citizens right now. Like, trans women are being murdered at a rate that's way higher than the average crime rate for women in general, and then for, women and men, and it all, So I would love to say, hey, Christians, take a cue from Pope Francis. But I can't help but think that Frankie was people pleasing in the moment with the Jonathan's temp parents. He may very well feel that way personally, that the church loves gay kids and trans kids just as they are, and that God does, just as they are. But if he doesn't act to change church doctrine, archbishops, bishops, and priests all over the world still get to complain about a rainbow plague of people who are just asking not to be hated for being who they are. They're just asking not to be kicked out of their homes, which is something that still happens where I'm from. Like, we here in my city, we have a shelter specifically for LGBTQ underage kids, because it's the South, and people kick their gay kids out of the house and tell them not to come back. And it's a problem. We have homeless young people here whose futures are derailed because of this. All right. So, yeah. And you know what? Even if Pope Francis manages to change centuries-old doctrine to include LGBTQ people, homophobia and transphobia won't magically disappear. One line in Leviticus has harmed and condemned an incalculable number of individuals. One single line. And people just ran with it, and they still do. So, fun with that. I mean, again, I really appreciate what the Pope had to say about it. So I just want to make sure I got everything in here. Let's see. The group, that would be this is sorry, this is from the New York Post article, but it's in the other one too. Let's see. One of the parents said, quote, "For many years, I was like a blind person. After I came to know that my son was homosexual, I suffered a lot because the rules of the church made me think that he was excluded from the love of God. Nobody helped me." Okay. And this is the danger, right? This is the damage. When people say, why do you care what people believe in? Because of this. This woman went through psychological turmoil for years because she had a gay son, and her church was telling her God hates gay people. So yeah, I think she would have been better off without religion. I think most people would be better off without religion, unless you're one of those bizarre random people who really means it when you say without Jesus I'd be out raping and murdering. Fine, you go to church. You need to be in there because that's some scary shit. Although I don't really buy it when people say that. I think they're bullshitting, but whatever. Um, all right. So what do you guys think? Hang on, let's see. Some people have joined us. Pardon me for smoking, obviously. I'm in my own house. I can do what I want. But this show is definitely not for children. So if you're under 18, please go away. Um, yeah, because I'm smoking tobacco and I curse. Oh, the Lone Wanderer has joined us. Um, do. Nerdy Rodent has joined us. Hello, Nerdy. You're awesome. You're amazing people. Never Again is here. Oh, hey, let's pull this up. I see no reason why we can't just have some ethics and morals and laws that make sense without all the dogma. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, actually, we do, in terms of the legal system to a degree, but again, you're right, Never Again, because those laws are also, they're influenced by the culture around us, right? So there were anti-sodomy laws in so many states, including this one and the one I grew up in, and there may still be on the books, even though gay marriage is federally legal here and you now, and so you have to allow, like, it's weird to think Junk Shop and I have not been married very long, but when we got married, the law in Tennessee was same-sex couples couldn't get married, but first cousins could, which is just explains way too much about the part of my country that I'm from. It's really terrifying. All right. Let's see. Wait. Does that mean we can be naked? I don't know what's going on in the chat, but you all do you. Have fun. Okay. Oh, I see. Dave is not sufficiently dressed to be on a live stream. All right. Let's see. So what do you all think? I mean, does this do any good that the Pope came out and said this? I mean, I know that a lot of Catholics are going to be like progressive, more liberal Catholics, and there are some are going to be thrilled and they're going to tout this as, wow, look at how progressive Pope Francis is. But there are also a lot of Catholics who are not going to like this at all, and they're not going to accept it, and they're going to think, oh, this Pope's fucking crazy. No. So Amina says, I think the Pope should proclaim that line as a forgery and no one should follow it. Thank you. So do I. Let's just take that. What is it? If a man lieth with another man as with a woman, they are an abomination and their blood shall be upon them. Yeah. Because that's how they justified the death penalty for gay people, at least gay men, for a very long time. I don't think the Bible specifically mentions lesbians anywhere. I'm fairly certain the Old Testament does not, but I haven't read the New Testament in a very long time, so I might be wrong. Oh, good. I'm glad someone made Never Again laugh. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Junk Shop. I'm just afraid the next Pope is going to be super conservative to compensate for Pope Frankie's liberalism. And yeah, honestly, yeah, what you see in American politics and in British politics too, where you've got, like, sometimes you have a very liberal government and then you get a conservative government the next time around, and it kind of goes back and forth. That same back and forth does happen with the I think it's the College of Cardinals that elects the Pope, and it has to be unanimous. And then that's the whole black smoke, white smoke thing. Like yeah. But yes, we very well may. Hey, Godless Gummer, good to see you. Yeah, it could absolutely happen that that we could get a really scary because we got Pope Francis because of the former Hitler Youth Pope. So let's see. A bit of tea and Danish says, why do there need to be so much hate in this world? Can't we all just? I don't know. I mean, I know it's a tired line. Like, why can't we all just get along? But you're right. You're right, my Danish friend. It's I don't know why people can't just live and let live. It's weird. Even as I'm sitting here saying, but they shouldn't. But we should really do away with religion because it fucks people up. But it's the nature of religion, that if it says something is wrong, that's that is not that is morally not wrong, or neither wrong nor right, or if it says something is good that is morally wrong, like convert everyone or kill them. um Religion makes things okay that would never be okay otherwise. Like that famous quote from Hitchens, right? It something to the effect of it takes religion to make a good person do evil things. I'm probably murdering that quote, but something to that effect. Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely does. Never again. That judgment shit keeps us apart. You are too right about that. And it's horrible. And again, what I said about it destroying families, I mean, it really does. Um, I had so many friends in high school and in college who, had to scramble to get a place to stay, whose, futures got set back because they ended up having to drop out of high school because they got kicked out while they were still in high school, or who ended up not being able to go to college because their parents refused to help them pay for college when they found out that they were gay or trans. And it is so rough. It is a horrible life to be a young person and be on the street. It's not easy. It's difficult, and it's incredibly dangerous. And even trying to couch surf is difficult and hard, because even if you have well-meaning friends who want to help you, not all of them can, and or they can for a limited amount of time. Jeff says, I like the idea from Family Guy when they get Michael Buffer to introduce the Pope. Let's get ready to humble or humbly. Humble, I think is what we mean. Yes. That's fantastic. Oh, here we go. Paul Camish has my back. Thank you, sir. Good people will do good things. Bad people will do bad things, but it takes religion to get good people to do bad things. Yes, sir, it does. It does indeed. Yeah. All right. And this is an argument from, or against rather, tribalism. Amiga Nut says, I think it's tribalism, which is ingrained in all religious ancient scripture. Absolutely. And it is. And it is ingrained in the scripture. And also, yeah, tribalism is very much a part of it. I mean, that's a reason that you'll find, cultural Christians, cultural Jews, and cultural Catholics. These are people who don't really believe the dogma anymore, but the practices, the rituals, the holidays, stuff like that, they still practice because it's a part of our culture. That's part of who we are. I mean, I don't bother with an Advent calendar much these days, or I don't light the wreath of Advent candles, but we have a Christmas tree every year up in this completely heathen, overcrowded apartment, because we like the lights. They're pretty. We do more for Halloween than we do for Christmas, but that's just personal taste. Godless Sewing says, as someone who built themselves up from the streets to owning a home, actions will always speak louder than belief. Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's awesome too. Way to go. Like, good on you. That's hard. That kind of upward social mobility is, you did really well. You worked hard for that. It's awesome. And yeah, actions do speak louder than words, I also hate this comment of or this, not comment, sorry, I don't hate any of y'all's comments. I hate this concept of hate the sin, love the sinner. I hate that, because just by inserting the word hate in there, you're suggesting that they're doing something worthy of hatred, and hatred is a strong emotion, and we shouldn't play around with that word. We shouldn't throw it around lightly. Okay, Lone Wanderer says, I give up an Advent calendars. Okay, after 4 days and pop all the chocolates. Oh, yeah. Yeah, who can wait the whole time? Come on. Hey, Ricardo Oliveira. Like, who has that kind of, that kind of stamina? Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Critical cripple. Yes, Dave. It allows them to hate people, hate the person indirectly. Yes, it does, because it's much harder. Like I said, I mean, this organization, the Jonathan's Tent organization, was created by parents, Catholic parents of gay and trans, of LGBT kids, right? So the only reason they felt the need to make this organization was they loved their kids. They still loved their church and their religion, and they had to try to square the two. You should never have to square your love for your child with your religion. That's fucked up. Religion should, loving your child is one of the most natural things, hopefully, that, in the human condition. And yeah, that's just, let's see. Never Again says, since when is the sin not a result of the person, and why should they be let off the hook for said sin? That's what I don't buy into. Why should they be let off the hook for said sin? Oh yeah, no, fair point. I think it's when, I think that term, like, hate the sin, love the sinner, it goes into that Christian notion. It's actually a kind of foundational notion of Christianity, of forgiveness, right? It's also one of the things that a lot of us love to harp about, is, oh, you can do any bad thing if you're a Christian. You just have to ask, sincerely ask for forgiveness, and you'll get it. But what a lot of the Catholic part of that, just an FYI, is when you go to confession, yes, you're absolved of your sins on the condition that you do the penance you're given, and you agree to go forth and sin no more. So it's not like you go every week and say, I committed adultery every week and get absolved. That there's going to be an issue there. You have to be truly repentant and not wanting to sin again. The problem I have is that a lot of the things that churches call sins aren't sins. And some things that are sins, they don't consider them to be. So that's where it gets weird or I shouldn't say sin, that are evil things to do, or bad things to do, harmful things. Anyway. All right. Oh, hey, Mom Atheist. Oh, here we go. Here's Robert X. Let's see. What do you... it's not that most of us don't have an idea how to fix things. The problem is agreeing with each other how to fix it. That's true. Some people want it their way and can't see the greater good. Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, honestly, humans trying to figure stuff out together and find common ground has been a constant struggle, largely due to tribalism. Like somebody pointed out earlier. I'm sorry, it went out of my head who that was, but yeah. And yeah, agreeing. Yeah, we have a lot more common ground with each other than we realize, or I think a lot of us realize it. Robert X realizes it. I mean, he just said so. So we agree that, yes, this is deleterious. This is harmful. How do we fix it? And it's in the how do we fix it that we end up with the problem. So, yeah, well, that too. No, absolutely never again. I agree. Yeah, and make them take responsibility instead of hiding in a confessional. Yeah, no, I agree. And I have absolutely no use for any of the Catholic sacraments anymore, but especially for reconciliation or confession, whichever way you want to say it. I have no use for it, because of, and this is something Junk Shop and I disagree on and should probably talk about on a couple streams sometime if we can figure out how to schedule that to bring it back. But there's the seal of the confessional. It's problematic because people have gone in and confessed to horrible crimes, and priests have been held in contempt of court because they won't testify to what those crimes were because they can't. If they do, then well, they're damned. If they do, that's supposed to be the consequence of that. But if you don't believe in, I don't believe in hell, so but they do, and also if any priest breaks their silence on that, then suddenly you can't trust when you're confessing. You can't trust that other people won't know about it. And we've seen a lot of shame culture in churches where confession is more public, where you confess to the whole church. The worst example of that was in cases of assault, where particularly like say a young woman has to stand up in front of her entire church and talk about how she was assaulted and how somehow it was her fault. That's so I can't speak to that experience, thankfully, because Catholics don't do public confessions, and neither do Wiccans that I know of, and those are the only two religions I've ever practiced. So I don't know how that works, but gross. Yeah. Anytime I hear about something like that, I feel like my head's gonna explode. So, all right. Any final thoughts or questions? Anybody else dubious about? I mean, is Pope Francis just placating these parents who are desperate to have the church that they love care about and stop excluding the children that they love too? Yeah, that is so. Yeah, that's so fucked up. Yeah, also, guys, I can't cite that. That is like third hand anecdotal evidence. I've heard stories like that. I've never seen it happen. I've heard that it did. Please don't take that as gospel, if you excuse the language. Hey, Microraptor. Aw, man, I was kind of wrapping up. All right. What? A pope possibly just bending with the prevailing populist wind? Yeah. Like a lot of wind going on. Oh, is it? Yeah. Yeah. Is it politics or is it real? Time will tell. Yeah. It might be both. It could be both. Yeah. Absolutely. Godless sowing. No one should have to ask for permission to exist. I stopped asking a long time ago, I'm assuming, but yes, I absolutely agree. No one should have to ask for permission to exist. And you know what? You don't have to like me. You don't have to approve. You just have to tolerate my right to be here. Just like I have to tolerate everyone else's right to be here. Godless Scummer says, not defending the Catholic Church, but I can hear you saying this in my head, Jeff. But at least they're not all recorded and filed for later date like Scientology does. Yes, no, I agree. Because Scientology, when they do their auditing, as I think all of you here know, when they do their auditing and they get you to confess things that you've done, they record it all and file it away. And if you ever leave, they have this concept of fair game. And of course, Chris Shelton can tell you more about this than I can, because he actually was a Scientologist, was raised one, and was in the Sea Corps and all that stuff. But they'll come back and use that stuff against you later. And yeah, they're notoriously vile about ruining people's lives. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Great interview on Sit Down with the Bunkers, Microraptor. Thanks for doing that. All right. Yeah, I got you. Confessions. Yeah. Um, and Nerdy Rodent comes in with, please, can I have permission to exist? Hashtag Oliver Twist. Yes, very nice. Good. Oh, yeah, agreed. Yeah, you're right, Microraptor. Tolerating our existence should be like, I mean, how freaking low is that bar, right? That's fair. Don't just tolerate my right to exist. Respect my right to exist. Critical Cripple has got Chris Shelton's uh link in there, dropping the links. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, it's he's verbose, and a lot of it. Elron is one writer I was never attracted to in my explorations. This is woo woo, but I got a bad vibe from him. Yeah. Well, you had good reason. We find out later he was not a good person and not a stable person. Um, I only read one of his books, and it was one of his fiction, one of his sci-fi novels, Battlefield Earth, and I was in like fifth grade, I think, when I read it, and it was okay. It could have lost a lot of pages, and it's a freaking doorstop, so it was way overwritten. Um, yeah, again, yeah, and going back to the tolerate and respect thing. If you can't get to respect, at least tolerate it without attacking. Yes, I absolutely agree. Um, and frankly, some people are only going to go so far, right? And it can depend on their generation, their environment, how they were raised, the culture they were raised in. My parents are so much less homophobic than they used to be that I'm thrilled. They're still embarrassingly homophobic. Like they'll say, and they don't realize it. Like they think they're cool with the gay folks mostly, but then something, but then they say something, and it's like, wow, okay, please don't say that when we're out somewhere in public. Um, Luckily, no one's doing that right now. Anyway, we haven't been out in public in a long time, but I do admire it because when I was a young girl, they were hateful in their homophobia. And my parents are not generally hateful people, so it was very disturbing and it was upsetting, and especially given the feelings I was having about other girls, it was really disturbing and upsetting. So yeah, people can, yes, thank you, Microraptor. People evolve, hopefully. Yeah, they change, hopefully. And for them, like many people who are scared of an other, of what they don't understand, it took them meeting somebody who happened to be gay who they really liked. And they got to know that person and like them, and then found out they were gay, and then they couldn't just go, oh, well, wait, no, I can't. Yeah. So this kind of goes to what Seth Andrews says a lot about, like, when to tell some people you're an atheist. Like, it's not a great, like, first impression conversation starter. Like, let them get to know you a little bit first and see the kind of person you are, and if you all like each other and get along as friends, and then at some point it just comes up organically. That's probably a better way than just, I mean, like, I don't know that anyone is walking around going, hi, my name is Julie, I'm an atheist. That's so rant. But maybe they are, because we do get those questions, when you first meet someone down here. Certainly it's what do you do, where do you go to church? And yep. So if you say, I don't so much go to church, well, then they might invite you to theirs. They honestly, here they're more likely to assume that you haven't found one yet. Like they might even say, "Oh, you must be new to the area." Um, they're not going to assume you're an atheist. That's not going to be the 10th thing, that the conclusion that they come to. Yeah, and I think it's also hang on. What did Microraptor said something awesome? What was it? I have to, sorry, trying to keep up with the chat here. Okay. If your ideas about sex and gender are older than the species I chose for my username, you're doing it wrong. Okay, that's awesome. I like that. Um, No, look, I'm not saying that we have to, just that we shouldn't like say something to older people. I'm just saying that, you know, they've come a long way. Give them a minute. Sometimes they have to catch up. And when we're old, there's going to be something that I can't imagine what it is yet, but there's going to be something that I just don't get. If I'm lucky enough to live long enough, I'm going to end up going, I don't know about that. And everybody, my great nieces and nephews are going to be telling me like how bigoted I am. So just wait. Lone Wanderer says, when Christians ask me if I have found Jesus, I tell them I did not realize he was missing. That's a great joke told in so many ways. It's always good. I don't know. Are you sure this is where he fell in? Oh yeah, we got some talk about cults happening. Let's see. No one is holding down anyone and praying over them. You all are having a lot of fun in the chat, and I'm glad. Hang on. Nerdy Rodent asks, would walking around town in a t-shirt that says, I'm an atheist, come and talk to me, help them get the idea? Maybe, yeah. And actually on Ask an Atheist Day, that might be a good idea. That's a good t-shirt idea. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink to anyone in the chat who happens to have Teespring. Godless Scummer says, I was going to start the Church of Our Lady of Perpetual Exemption, but John Oliver beat me to it. Yes, he did. Oh, those skits are so funny. We have there's a little town outside of Memphis, and they have and it's an antique store, but it used to be a church. And a friend was visiting from Louisville once, and he said, oh, look, it's Our Lady of the Banal, because it was an antique store. Anyway, fun with that. Oh, Microraptor. There's some parts of the queer community I don't understand, but I respect those people and ask them questions to learn. Well, that's good. That's always good. I feel like I'm missing some context there, but that's okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, fair point. The atheist shirt might not do well. At least not one that's that stark, right? I mean, I wear my Thinking Atheist shirt all the time, the one that I just forgot what it said. Oh, thank you. Yes, it says I have a close personal relationship with reality. Now, it's written very small, and it's written right across the top of where my boobs are, because I have those. And so most people, and they have to be staring at my boobs and take a moment to actually read that. So I've never gotten any flack for wearing it in public. I think people just didn't realize it was an atheist thing, which is fun. Oh, nice. And yes, I've started a few productive conversations with strangers using those too. Can't wait till I wear the We're Here So We Win t-shirt. Yes, I know. I need to. Thank you so much, Never Again. And I want to get one of those too. The We're Here So We Win. I was inspired by something that came out during one of Junk Shop's mental health Thursdays, and they're really cool. We got some more fun names of possible churches. Our Mr. of Occasional Lady Gender Expression. I like it. I like it very much. Let's see. I used to be a member of the Church of the Apocalyptic Lawnmower, but then that was just an Amiga BBS rather than an actual church. All right. Nerdy Rodent. I like that. I wear upside down crosses, says Godless Sewing, and I get into conversations with the religious, and most are nice people. Yes, I agree with you. And hey, Brainbug. And yeah, that's the other thing too, is that, we're constantly, sorry, I got a correction from Junk Shop. Credits. Yeah, that's right. It was Easism who said that in the chat that day. Yeah. So credit to Easism Works for that slogan. Yes. Yes. Credit where credit is due. But yes, I got oh, I just totally forgot where I was going. Now, people are getting spanked in the chat. All right, as long as it's with enthusiastic consent, it's fine. Okay. All right. Well, tonight. So here's the announcement portion of the live stream. Tonight I have, and I know this is incredibly inconsiderate to those of you in Europe and Denmark, and I am sorry, and in the British Isles. I apologize. Hey, Inquisitive Quandary. Gosh, all the cool kids are here. This makes me just want to keep talking. But okay. Anyway, so tonight at 5:30 Central Time, that is 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, and of course this is all US. I forget what time that is in British summertime. Are you guys still in British summertime, or has it turned over yet? Anyway, that was directed at Paul or anyone else over there. Yeah, so 5:30 Central Standard Time. My friend Drew is going to come on as my guest, and if you were wondering why I'm doing these extra wine and reasons in the evenings whenever I have a guest, it's frankly it's because a lot of my friends luckily are not laid off like I am, and they have work, so I can't have them on until after they get home from work and have a minute to decompress and gather their thoughts, and then they come on. But Drew is super excited, and he and I are going to talk to all of you about McCarthyism and the U.S. Motto changing, and what's on our money, and all of that weirdness, the ways in which Christian dominionism has just been kind of seeping in, and we can trace it back to the 1940s and 1950s. So we're going to talk about that, and that will be the Wine and Reason, the E Pluribus Unum edition. And I absolutely will be drinking wine at that one because that'll be after 5, and I'm almost ready for a glass now, although it's a bit early still. The Church of Brian of late and the day wine drinking. Yes, I love it. Oh, the Big Red Scare. Yeah, exactly, Amiga Nuts. Exactly. We're going to talk about a little bit about McCarthyism. It's interesting because, oh well, I don't want to spill all the beans for later. So, but I will say that Citation Needed did an episode on the Red Scare, and it really does clear some things up, and also there's some stuff that I didn't know that I learned from that episode, and I thought I knew a lot about that time in American and world history. No, there was a lot I didn't know. So the Church of Just Let the King Get a Fucking Divorce or He'll Chop Our Heads Off. Yeah, I think that's the Church of England. Yeah, that's COE, right? Whew. All right. No offense, because the English are there are more non-believers in England. Well, I don't know if there are more population wise. I'm not sure how that works out, but basically, yeah, the state church thing seems to work to make modern Britain more secular than it used to be. But anyone who actually lives in Great Britain, please correct me if I'm wrong. If you live in the UK and I'm just like talking some shit up here in my Americanness, let me know. But I make that assertion on behalf of British people that I have heard make that same assertion. Yeah. All right. So I think that's about all I've got for you at the moment. I know it seems short to me, but we've been going 55 minutes. So yay. I'm also working on not having as many ums and such in the channel. Oh yeah, and I just said again. Oh yeah. Just a little self-shilling here. Look for me on a bit of Tea and Danish's TMI show. She and Maya Atkinson, who is amazing. If you haven't seen her on other people's shows, I don't know how you've missed her, because she's amazing, and she's on a lot of panels. The three of us are gonna do we're gonna do a girls only thing, but we're not, we're feminists. We're not excluding any other genders. Please be in the chat. But we're gonna talk about some stuff. Critical Cripple ready with the link. Thank you. You are amazing. Oh, brain bug, yay. Um, if yeah, you too. You do the and the uhs. Oh, thank you. I feel less alone. I feel less alone. You're very smart too, and you know what to say about insects. Okay, and arachnids and everything. Creepy crawly. We love you. But without and stuff, hang on, this is great. But without and stuff, how are you going to remind us that life finds a way? Are you implying that I talk like Jeff Goldberg? Wait, is that the right guy? Did I just say a totally different actor from the 80s? I did, didn't I? I said the silly comedian guy, not at all the cute guy. Damn it. All right. And now I can't think of his actual name. Ah, there we go. Here's Paul. Religion isn't a thing. In Britain, people could care less. Yeah, care less. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Paul. I thought that was my thought in general, but I didn't want to speak for you. So thanks for Jeff Goldblum. Thank you, Microraptor. My God. My godless life. That was going to drive me nuts for the rest of the day. Thank you, Microraptor. Jeff Goldblum. Yes. Problematic at times, but aren't we all? Oh, I knew you meant couldn't care less, Paul. Yeah, that's just one of those things, one of those phrases that's just gotten kind of messed up. It's like willy-nilly. That comes from will he or nil he, as in will he or won't he, and now we use it just to mean kind of all over the place. It still has that note of indecision, but the precise meaning has kind of been lost. But yeah, I don't know what this means, but I kind of love it. All right. Okay, I'm going to sign off here, guys. As always, now I'm just gonna think Jeff Goldblum every time I say All right. Yeah, there are worse pictures to have in my head. Except for In the Fly. That got weird. It's a great movie though. Oh, last note. I picked up a copy of A Quiet Place for our first. Junk Shop and I have a tradition all through the month of October, and I think we're going to start it a little early too. Oh, it's from Brunderfly is from The Fly. Of course it is. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul Kamish. Yeah. We watch horror movies every night leading up to Halloween. So we are probably going to start that early because Unholy Sarah started spooky season early, and I think this is a great idea. I know I need it. I need to have somewhere to focus my fear and anxiety that is not my own actual life. So we're starting with A Quiet Place tonight. I'm so excited. We have no spoilers. If you put a spoiler in the chat right now, I will be so mad with you because we haven't seen it yet. We meant to go see it at the theaters and somehow we never got around to it. So yeah, we'll be starting Christmas in November. Probably not. I mean, because we have Thanksgiving over here. So I'm a firm believer in not dealing with Christmas until after Thanksgiving. Please watch the Dunwich Horror. Absolutely. I've seen it, but that can go on the list. We rewatch stuff all the time. Oh, thank you, Microraptor. Are we getting oh, wait. Oh, sorry. Yeah, spoiler, it's quiet. Thank you. That's fine. Oh, are we getting locked down again? No, I'm just we're we've at this point we've had over 200,000 deaths in the US from COVID-19. We're not locked down. We can go out whenever we want, but we have to wear masks, and that's good. It's such a pain in the keister that and also we're trying really hard not to get this thing, so we're still doing we go out about once a week to get supplies, maybe two or three times a week now, because we've gotten a little lax in our lockdown procedures, which is bad. The UK is getting locked down again. Oh, I see. Oh no, I'm sorry, guys. Thank you, Lone Wanderer, Paul Camish, and Critical Cripple for clearing that up for me. Yeah, yeah. I was us, me, the UK, over the pond, Britain, LOL. Yeah, absolutely. I apologize. Okay. All right. I can dig it. I can dig it. All right. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. So, yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that you've, oh, okay. So, according to, oh, sugar. Yeah, Critical Cripple. Y'all shield whatever you want in my chat. You know, I don't care. Critical Cripple Dave says, we're like one step away from full lockdown. We're now only allowed to go out alone to where there is a till. So basically, if it's something you can't do online, is that what you're saying? Like maybe groceries or something? All right. Oh, hey, Dave is going to be live in 28 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here so we can go watch him. And I'm going to let Junk Shop enjoy their day off because this is their day off. So Nerdy Rodin also from Great Britain says, unless we need to test our eyesight, in which case we can drive 300 miles with a car full of people. Okay, I sense some particulars going on here that I'm not going to grasp fully in this moment. But LOL, no, they only want us to leave the house if we're spending money. Oh, that's what you meant. Okay, yeah, got it. That's why somewhere with a till. It's confusing. It's confusing. We don't know what the rules are. Okay, fair. Fair. Yeah, it's confusing here too. I wish we were back on lockdown. We need to be. When I went to I had to run to the store this morning. By run, I mean I walked across the street to the grocery store, and as I was walking, I saw a group of folks, young people, standing, and they were standing a couple of feet apart. They were making some effort, I guess, for Americans during the worst pandemic any of us have ever seen. But they were also standing roughly 1 to 2 feet apart, and none of them were wearing masks, and they were all talking to each other. So, yay for that. I hope they're all okay. All right. Ooh, Microraptor put up a very short video. Good. All right. Now we're gonna stop this. Everybody can go watch Dave's show. As always, you can't find truth in wine, but you may find it in reason. And get your word of the day from the Lonely Wanderer. And yep, with that, I'm gonna go. Love from Memphis, y'all. Thank you.